What's up, everybody? This is Joe from Complete Payroll, back for another episode of PeopleWork. PeopleWork, of course, is a series where we talk to a variety of people from spanning all corners of the human capital management spectrum about all manners of topics related to human capital management for the benefit of people who manage workforces, whether that's business owners, HR managers, anybody of that ilk. And maybe perfectly today I might have the perfect guest. Jen Fregoso is an account manager, a strategic account manager at Mammoth HR, which is a company that, and correct me if I'm wrong, makes a whole suite of software for HR managers and HR professionals to help them, manage people and manage their workforces. So Mammoth has been a partner of Complete Payroll for a very long time. And if you subscribe to any of our HR services, it is essentially Mammoth services that you are subscribing to. So and we've been trying to lock down an interview with somebody from Mammoth for a long time. So I'm very, very excited to have you here. Jen, thank you so much for taking some time out of your Tuesday to join me.
No problem. Thank you. And I don't know if you knew this, Joe, but Complete Payroll was Mammoth's very first partner.
Is that right?
Yeah.
See, I knew it went back a long time. Do you know how long ago that was, or?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't.
It's been a while.
Before my time at Mammoth.
Awesome. Well, yeah. I mean, it's the reputation. The reputation for the relationship precedes me by a lot. And when I got here, it was one of the first things that was imparted upon me was that this was a partnership that's been going on for a very long time. So it's so great to have you on, especially given now, obviously we're still in the middle of this coronavirus pandemic and everyone's sick of hearing about it. Now you and I are sick of talking about it. So it seems like, though, things are kind of starting to loosen up. Things are starting to get back to normal. And that was what we talked about, making the focus of this conversation be just after the fact, talking about the future, talking about the new normal once everything kind of gets back up and running. And so I know today in New York, I'm in New York. Jen is a very safe social distance of about 2,600 miles away.
Yep.
In Portland, Oregon. And so, in New York, I guess May 15th is the day they're going to start little by little reopening parts of the workforce, which is fantastic. So that's what we wanted to talk about was after the future. We don't want to wallow in the despair and sadness of it all. We started to see it. We're seeing a light at the end of the tunnel, and we're trying to help businesses go towards it. So, Jen, thank you again so much for joining me.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me. I appreciate the opportunity.
Of course.
I'm going to talk. We're all still in this environment, my lovely home in the background instead of an office. Yeah.
It's very nice. Yeah. Sure. I'm enjoying working in my jams. I might make this a more permanent thing.
Right. Exactly.
So I'll start by asking you the same question that I ask everybody I talk to now, personally and professionally. How are you holding up?
I'm doing well. It's definitely been a huge adjustment. It's one of those things that I made kind of jokingly, how funny, like people always want to be working from home and be home more and be able to do this. And it sounds so cool, but we're able to work from home. And I used to be that person. I'd go to the office and then I loved and looked forward to my days to work from home. And now I swear to you, I will be at the office every single day when it opens up. My house probably cannot get any cleaner, and my yard is becoming immaculate.
That's awesome.
So, it's been a huge adjustment. I have children, and so my oldest is in college. He's doing all online courses. My youngest is a third grader. So we have moved to online schooling, and I've become a teacher now. That has been very challenging, won't lie. But other than probably what everyone else is facing, missing my loved ones, missing my family, missing that social interaction with my coworkers or anyone else, it's been tough, but one day by day. And like you said, I'm really looking forward to the fact that Oregon's having some of those same conversations as far as getting back to business, having some normalcy. Our grocery stores are finally getting some groceries and toilet paper and things on the shelves. So that's amazing. It's a good sign. Um, not having to worry about where I'm going to find my next roll of toilet paper anymore. So, it is definitely getting back. Like you said, moving forward is definitely what we're looking for. And you said like May 15th in New York, that's the day they're thinking about doing certain things. Well, restaurants here have actually started bringing back some of their hourly employees for takeout positions. So that's the same atmosphere that's going on over here. Things are starting to, I think it's become the new norm of how life is right now and business is. And so we're adjusting and adapting.
Awesome. Well, yeah, let's talk about that. So obviously you guys are an HR company, right? You help,
Yep.
You provide HR services, you provide HR guidance. I'm sure you're getting just inundated with questions of all kinds. What are some of the more common questions that you're facing on a day-to-day basis?
It's interesting. As everyone can probably predict, most of our questions are obviously surrounded around COVID-19 and how to be able to support their employees, or how to, put certain processes or procedures in place if they are an essential business, open doors still, having, any type of interaction with social, anybody out and about, whether it's a retail store or a business that has that back and forth of people coming in, and so the questions have gone anywhere from, I have an employee that's been out for 11 days. What do I do? Can I ask for a doctor's note in these times? Can I not ask for a doctor's note? And then we've had even some simple and positive things, like we had a question from one of Complete Payroll's clients in New York that said, I'm hiring a new person and I haven't hired a new person in 9 years. What do I do? So, that question has been, that actual question itself was just submitted a few days ago. So seeing that come across the board of some questions that are being asked made me definitely feel better that businesses are bringing people back, hiring new people, but other things we've had is, it goes anywhere from policy procedure to, standard, like how do I update my sick time policies? How do I do a work from home policy? What do I do with my handbooks? To, I have an employee that does not feel comfortable coming into work anymore and has officially asked me to lay them off. Is that something I can do even though I still need them? And then, not to go on the emotional side of it or anything like that too, but for our clients that have the on-demand service that brings in that live support where you can pick up a phone and talk to one of our HR advisors, we have had so many business owners call in and start crying on the phone because they feel so bad about having to lay their staff off, or, anything like that. That was a lot of those calls in the beginning. Now we have a lot of businesses that actually have called back in and saying, I plan on opening my doors back up when all these things lifts. What are the things we need to be doing? So the signs of moving that direction is amazing. Some of the main things that we've seen as far as process and procedure, where we really can come in and shine and help support a business, is, updating their current policies. They're at a downtime right now. They don't have their doors open full time. They don't have employees that they're really managing directly right now, maybe in a remote atmosphere. So there are a lot of businesses that are like, I'm taking this time to look at all my policies, look at my procedures, look at the things I need to do to move forward. How can you help me? What guidance do you have for me? And that's where we are able to come in as the Complete Payroll HR Support Center, that allows us to, be their shoulder, be their resource, make them feel comfortable and confident that they're handling the situations correctly. We've had a high number of handbook update questions, like, oh my gosh, we have all these new things that we have to think about as far as health and safety, or, workplace cleanliness or social distancing. What are types of things that I should be thinking about in my handbook? Can we talk about that? And we definitely work with our businesses and help them develop those customized policies that fit their company culture. That's where we are a huge reliable resource for, as well as being a shoulder to cry on right now for a lot of business owners. So one questions that I did, and I wrote it down here, where was it? This is the most frequently asked question across the board, whether it's complete payroll client, but I have an employee that is too concerned and too afraid to come to work based on what's going on to COVID-19. How should I handle this situation? What is acceptable? What boundaries do I not cross as a manager versus a friend? And that's a tough one.
Sure.
You know, as a manager, everybody wants to be there for their employees. They have made this company culture as, you know, a united team, and they want to maintain that company culture. But in a remote environment or in situations like this, where you have an employee that is seriously afraid to come to work, and you want to be their friend and you want to be their support person, because we spend 85% of our time at work. Yeah. I mean, but then you also have to draw that line and go, I'm still their manager. And be understanding, but yet still make sure that that's the best decision for the company and the employee themselves.
Yeah, I was gonna ask about that. Like, to what extent can you help with things like that? I guess, how do you draw the line between like helping with that or I guess keeping the personal and professional, the boundaries of personal and professional, intact.
It's one of those things that our HR advisors are telling people that right now the best thing to do to be able to keep people's morale up and even their spirits up right now, because they have lost a lot, whether it's reduced hours or lost jobs completely, is that to support their employees and do what they think is best. If they really can't be without that employee, it's a serious conversation that needs to be like, what are some things that maybe I can do in my workplace to make you feel more comfortable to want to come to work?
Yeah.
What are some things I need to do? Should I change your hours because there's less foot traffic if they're in a retail situation? Or can I move you to a stocking position? Whatever it is to accommodate that individual, to maybe see if there's something you can work with them on to be able to make them still feel as though they are comfortable enough to come to work. And if they just really aren't, support them in the fact that they aren't.
Yeah.
And then make sure you take that route as a manager and provide them the resources they need to still be able to take care of themselves.
Right. I mean, yeah, you'd think that the natural response to that would be, try to find a way for them to work remotely. But a lot of people that are going to be returning to the workforce can't work remotely.
Yeah, my mom's a perfect example of that. My mom works in a retail business. She is a store manager for PetSmart. I'm sure everyone knows PetSmart or Petco or whoever the pet supply companies. And so she's a retail manager. She has to be there. She has to be there every day. She does not have an option to work from home. So she's definitely guided her team and her employees on taking the proper steps and measures to make sure they're protecting themselves, as well as making their customers feel comfortable that they are protected when they're in the store.
Sure. In what way, like, what are some of the ways you are guiding employers, or just what are some of the ways you're guiding employers in terms of preparing the workforce for post-COVID life?
Well, one of the things is that a lot of our businesses are calling and asking is, what if I can't bring all my employees back at once? Mm-hmm. How do I determine who is priority or who's not? And those are really, it's not black and white. And a lot of our guidance for how to prepare once the workforce comes back into a normal direction is, like I said, get your policies, procedures updated. You know what? They may have to be updated again once doors open, because we don't know what regulations or mandates are going to come down from state by state or federal for health and safety reasons or for process and procedure. But, we are here to help them through that and make sure we can provide the resources to be able to allow them to feel comfortable and confident opening their doors back up. Whether that's developing those processes for disease preparedness and response plans if something like this were to come back out, helping them with basic infection prevention policies, maybe, or helping them with sick time policies, PTO policies. those types of things are all things that so many business owners are looking at right now, because now having this come up with so many business, this has never happened in many
Yeah,
people's,
right.
like I've never seen this. My grandmother, like not my grandmother, but one of our family friends that's like 80, 90 years old, like they're like, I've never had this happen in my lifetime. So this is new for everyone. And so, we want to make sure people that are looking forward to opening their doors back up, that are ready for the possibilities of business is going to change, how we do business internally and externally. It's going to change, but know that as we get updates and mandates and get direction from the government and our states, we are making sure everyone here at Mammoth is educated and has the information and resources they need to be able to provide to the business owners as those questions start coming in.
Are you finding that a lot of the people that are reaching out to you are people who maybe rejected the idea of, pardon me, maybe at once rejected the idea of, using an HR software platform, and now are, having been thrown in this fire, are seeing the need for it, and what if you could speak to that a little bit.
Absolutely. So just to give you some numbers to show how much people have realized that HR is maybe a priority in a business. Mammoth itself has had over a 45% increase in call volume. And it's not just, oh my God, I have these COVID resources, I need to know what they are, but it's, I've never made a handbook.
Yeah.
Can you guys help us with that? I have a policy manual that's a page that has a few things on it that talk about, the things I know, but it's definitely made a lot of business owners that always thought HR, I'm too small, I'm a family-owned business, I don't need HR, I've never had a problem, I've never had to deal with laying off employees, everything's good. It has changed the perspective from business owners on that. And they've now realized that, I might need some help and guidance because I don't understand the latest federal regulation that came out about the CARES, because it has so much legal language. Can you help me break that down in language that I understand? Sure. Absolutely. It's like you asked me some of the questions. One of the questions that it says is guidance as it pertains to child support and garnishments when paying FFCRA, sick, and FMLA. And then I get into that question. I'm like, what kind of question was that? And the question, the next line down in that question was, pretty much I read the law and it's not English to me.
Yep.
I don't know what I'm supposed to do as a business owner. So my HR advisor broke it down in simplest, lamest terms, provided a few resources and links to federal governments to give them more detailed information. And the client came back and responded, you made me completely understand what I need to know about this, and maybe understand what the law was coming and asking me to do.
Yeah, and I think that's really the value that certainly your organization and what we try to do is boiled down to its like essence is to take very complex, boring stuff.
It is not exciting.
Yeah, right. Very boring stuff, and make it digestible and palatable to people who it should be the furthest thing from their mind. Somebody owns a restaurant, a chef opens a restaurant. Yeah. The last thing on earth he wants to do is do payroll or worry about an employee handbook, right? He wants to just cook. And so
serve food, cook, and make sure my people are happy and full.
Exactly, right. And make sure my staff is paid and everything, but I don't want to deal with all that stuff. I'm glad you sort of alluded to that, because like that's gets at the sort of core of what our two organizations do. And
absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, not all of the majority of organizations, throughout the United States, whether it's New York, Oregon, California, wherever you are, if you think about it, the majority of them are small business owners. They're not corporations. They don't have HR departments. They don't have licensed and educated individuals that handle all that for them. Usually it's a business owner that's running their business, managing their employees, and playing HR.
Yep.
While doing payroll, while trying to figure out benefits and sick times and things like that. And so they have never been educated. They haven't been, guided in the right direction. They haven't had that resource like a lot of larger corporations. Like I know Mammoth, we have our own HR department. I'm sure Complete Payroll has an HR department. It's a larger business where they have somebody that can take care of that for them. You don't have to worry about it. That's that person's job. This falls on shoulders of people that are trying to figure out how to lay employees off while still meet regulations. Well, can I keep my doors open? I don't even know what to do because I don't know what I'm supposed to do.
Right.
And you're exactly right. That is where we can come in and be that resource from the Complete Payroll Processing HR Support Center site and services to be able to say, we gotcha. Let me help you. Let me be able to guide you. Let's work through this. If I can't answer the question and I think you need to go to a lawyer, we'll tell you.
Yeah.
If you need to go to a lawyer. If it's something that they want guidance on that isn't in our area of expertise, because it's amazing how many people have come to us with payroll questions, because payroll is a huge topic right now.
Sure.
And we have to divert them back to their payroll provider. We can give you guidance on, pay policies or who gets paid what, or, that type of the involvement around the HR and employee management tools, but the actual details of payroll and tax regulations or limits and things like that. We'd probably do the same thing that they would and go online and pull something up, but then refer to our payroll partners and go, can you explain this to us?
Yeah. How do you do it?
Absolutely. It's a collaboration of forces. We work together to make sure we can provide a good support for our clients.
Yeah. We've worked, we do, Jen and I speak monthly, once a month. We have, a monthly check-in, and it's been awesome. And particularly during this, because, we're a company like anybody else and we need guidance like anybody else. And Mammoth has been huge.
Well, Complete Payroll, you guys use our services. Like
Sure.
Your administrative staff submits questions through to our services, asking questions for guidance on things. And I actually poked in there a little bit when I was doing some research, and your management and administrative team have submitted some questions for guidance for your company itself, on notifications or posters that need to be up or emails that need to be sent out or, whatever it is, or explain this law to me.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things that our service can help that business owner they didn't get into business to manage employees and do HR. They got into business to make shoes, and they love making shoes, and that's their focus. And so they can come to us and go, you know what? I like to make shoes, and I got into business to make shoes. I don't understand this other stuff. Can you help me understand it? One thing, we're not like an ASO service where we just do all your tasks for you and just give them back. We want to make sure our business owners are comfortable and educated in why something's happening, how it needs to be rolled out, questions that may come to them that they can then feel comfortable answering because they've been educated on it. And also know if something does come to them, they can reach out to us and we can help guide them.
Awesome. What's, all right. So, I guess my last question, or my second last question, what do you think is going to be the biggest change in how companies do business, either externally or internally, after things get, after period. I'm just going to say after.
Yeah, no, for sure. This is definitely something that we've talked about internally at Mammoth. What's going to change in our company? What's going to look like when everything changes? It's made a lot of business, I think, be forced to adapt to technology and be able to adapt to software capabilities of how it can support them. I think, externally, you might see a lot of businesses move to a work from home environment, be more open to it because they've been forced to think about it. Whereas before, no, I mean, the majority of my life growing up and working, that wasn't an option to work from home. You came to the office and you worked in the office from 9 to 5, and then that's your time. And, but I'll call you on your cell phone or get you on your laptop if I need you after hours, but you're here from 9 to 5. I think that's one of the major things we're going to see. Some businesses are, obviously it's going to take them some time financially to be able to come out of this because the impact it has had on them being able to generate business and things. And that, maybe some of the overhead costs are saved through downgrading a size of a business and not having a actual physical location as large because they move some of their workforce remote. We have had some businesses actually ask about that. This seems to be working really well. We're still productive. We're still being able to support our clients. What kinds of things would I need to do to put this as permanent for some employees?
Yeah.
Internally, I think that some of the things that people are definitely going to have to focus on, like I said, is policy procedure, health and safety measures. I think you shared with me, you asked me about an OSHA document that came out, and the OSHA document was guidance on preparing your workforce for COVID-19. And you would think off that title that it would just be like, how do you prepare going through this and dealing with this? And now that it's here in our face, what do we do to do with it? But there are some steps, if you read through that document, that talks about what do businesses need to think about moving forward when this all changes? What are some of the policies, procedures that maybe they should look at? And they do mention your health and safety processes, your workforce communication process. That's another thing I think internally is the way businesses employees communicate with each other has definitely changed. It's had to become more efficient. They've had to make sure that they take advantage of the time they do get with somebody on a video chat or a phone call, because you can't just walk in the door to the office and be like, hey, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
And so I think those are some major things that are going to change. One thing that you did ask me that you hadn't mentioned is, some of the challenges that HR managers are going to face through this. And I really thought about that. I sat and thought about that just because I was an HR manager, office manager for an electrical company, family-owned electrical company years ago.
Yeah.
And I thought about what would I do if I was in that position right now? How would I keep my company culture together? How would I keep my employees' morale together? How do I ensure communication still is done properly, or that employees are maintaining the productivity that they need? That all ties into also how moving forward businesses may operate. It's made them be forced to take a more granulated look at things and a detailed look at things of how am I going to manage my employees? And a lot of people don't, it's interesting. A manager can make or break a company. And this is a time when I think a lot of businesses have realized how important a management role, whether it's HR manager, office manager, your development manager, marketing manager, whatever that is, whatever team they're working with, they have a certain level of things that they need to do to make sure your company culture, your employees' morale stays up. Communication, it's just crazy. Externally and internally, I see, business going back to normal. Yeah, the new norm. The new norm. Yeah. Is it ever going to, do I predict, I'm not legal, can't predict the future, but personally, do I see business going back to the way we always used to have it? Absolutely not.
Yeah, I don't think it should either. I think this is this should be a moment where businesses really take stock of how they do it.
Yeah.
And, like you said, try to streamline things or adapt. I mean, it's, I read a quote today. It was, smooth waters makes for poor sailors or something like that.
Oh yeah.
So this is really going to help sort of, I guess, sharpen people a little bit. And you're already seeing businesses adapt and can pivot and start doing other things or do different things that they might have never thought of just to stay afloat. And it's been amazing. It's been amazing to watch. I'm really glad that you brought up the thing about the HR manager, because you're right, I did forget to ask, so thanks for that.
Okay, no.
And then yeah, the OSHA doc, of course, that's a super important document. I'll definitely make sure I link to it. And then I actually saw that they produced separate ones for different industries, right?
Yeah.
So I'll be sure to link to that as well. Okay.
Yeah, it's a great document for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
And it for sure is something I did check with my content team. They will be eventually adding that link resource onto the HR Support Center site as well.
Beautiful. That's great.
Yeah.
Okay. So after this is all over with, the thing I can't wait to do is get back to band practice. I'm in a band. It's like the whole thing that I love most in the whole world. The second I'm able to, I'm getting my guys together. We're going to go to the bar that's in the bottom floor of the building we practice in called Matinee. We're going to go there and get drinks. And then we're going upstairs and we're going to rock and roll. It's going to be great.
I love it.
What is everyone's going to go see their friends and their family, and that's going to be fantastic. Hugs all around. What is the first place locally to you, like that you, first place you can't wait to go as soon as you're able to go?
So honestly, just because my children and I have been locked down in the house and not going to school, I think one of the first things I do so that we all can have some normalcy, we'll go to our local, it's called Big Al's. It's a family fun center place that has bowling and video games and food, and you can run around. That is definitely going to be one of my very first things I go and take my family to do, so that we used to do that all the time. We'd just pick up and go, let's go bowling.
Simple.
Let's go play video games. Let's just go let the kids run around and play video games. Like, why not? Let's go do that. And then be able to afterwards do what we normally do and go to our local ice cream place, Cold Stone Creamery, sit down inside and eat ice cream and not have to wait outside and pick it up on the front walkway.
Yeah. I've been doing a lot of takeout. I've been trying to do support the local businesses as much as I can.
Yeah.
But you're right. There's something you take for granted just sitting in a restaurant with people.
Yeah. My boyfriend and I found this great new Mexican restaurant down the road from our house right before the COVID-19 breakout and crisis started happening. And we're like, God, this is amazing. And then for a while there, they weren't doing delivery or takeout. They had just closed their doors completely. I was like, this sucks. Like, we found this great new place and now we can't go.
Well, soon enough. Yeah. It seems like soon enough.
But personally, without my family, one of the first things I'll do as an adult is my boyfriend and I'm going to make him go to a bar with me so we can have a drink in a social environment.
Yeah, I hear
you. I don't watch a lot of sports, but hell, I'll go to a sports bar and watch on the TV whatever sports come back to play.
Yeah, that's right. I guess, Portland. I mean, what do you guys what are your Mariners, right? Seahawks?
So we know the only local professional sports team that's really out there and known is the Timbers. So we have our soccer team, the Timbers.
Oh, right.
And then we have the Portland Trailblazers.
The Blazers. Yeah, of course.
Yeah. We have the Portland Trailblazers. But then we have our minor league baseball teams and that kind of stuff. But we don't have an NFL team or anything like that. So yeah, we watch the Seattle Mariners and we watch the Seattle Seahawks. Or you have people that go south and do the 49ers and the Giants.
Right. Right. Yeah.
That's honestly something that I think would be fun too once this all breaks up and sports come back into play. Take my family, pack them up, drive up to Seattle. Let's go watch a Mariners game.
Oh, man.
Eat some hot dogs and drink some beer.
Ken Griffey Jr. was when I was a kid, that was he was my dude. Ken Griffey Jr. he had the best swing. I used to worship Ken Griffey Jr.
My dad and he was a baseball fanatic.
Awesome.
So I grew up watching the Yankees and the Giants.
Yeah.
That is what I grew up. So
yeah. I mean, we don't have Major League Baseball here, but I feel like this Buffalo is very much Yankees.
Oh yeah.
Country for sure. Even though our AAA, I think our AAA affiliate is Toronto again. Toronto.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
Like I said, my baseball was my dad's life. My brother played baseball. So my dad was a baseball fanatic. My dad passed away a few years ago, and I have all of his sports memorabilia, baseballs, bats. I grew up watching baseball, and I tried playing softball, and my own teammate hit me with a baseball bat my very first game and broke my elbow. So I never played again.
That'll do it. Jeez.
Yeah, I was like, this whole softball thing is overrated. I'm good.
Man. Well, on that note,
yeah.
Jen, thank you so much for taking time out of your day.
Thank you.
It's always great to talk to you, but this might be the first time we're meeting sort of face to face.
Yeah, absolutely.
So thank you again for your time. We'll throw this up and we'll make sure we link to how do we get in? I mean, how do we get in touch with Mammoth, or we know if people contact us, obviously we know how to get in touch with you, but if people are seeing us, they're not doing business with either of our companies in any way, how do you reach Mammoth? And
so our local website is www.mammothhr.com.
Yep.
You go to there, it gives you all the links and resources you need to email in and find out more information on that page as well. If you're not a Complete Payroll client or a Mammoth HR client, we do have a free COVID-19 resource page. that we are updating. It's not as updated as our internal HR support center, complete payroll sites.
Sure.
It's not as quickly, it's not our priority. We update our internal sites more, but we are providing to make sure they have links to the resources and things. But that's where they can go to find out more. It goes through all our services and what we do.
All right. I'll make sure to link to that as well.
Okay.
Jen, thank you so much.
Have a great day.
You too.
Bye.
Bye-bye.